It is time for Celeb Buzz. Giselle Ugarte is back.
Good morning, good morning. I love that song. I can't help but dance.
Ugarte? What kind of name is that? It's beautiful.
Yo soy Giselle Ugarte. Acompáñame. You're watching Latino TV, where we live life with an accent. Whoop, whoop. Drum roll, please, underneath my cheekbones for some sculpting. I don't know what that was. That's like... Don't judge me if I mess up.
Let's go! It's my party! Do what I want! Do what I want!
It looks so good to be bad. You guys know what I'm talking about. Bad blood.
If Ryan Gosling gave me a baby, I feel like I'd be wearing a bikini every single day into the third trimester.
And then I also noticed you have a little bit of bling on a certain finger. Engaged now?
Yes.
So I have to ask, because I know if I don't, the audience is going to kill me. Is it just friends? We're
More
just
than
friends.
I mean, you tell me, Aaron.
Are you straight?
They all do.
How many people have you slept with? Do you have any STDs? Just wondering. Just wondering.
Lizzie McGuire can do whatever she wants. Leave her alone. Take notes. Rather than using this emotion and these tears as an excuse, here's a way how you can use it as fuel. I'm Giselle, and I want to be your next Fox Sports West girl.
I'm really awkward, actually.
It's a good thing, let me tell you.
Yeah.
My first surfing lesson ever. And you get through and you're pulling out like flasks, ring pops, full bottles of tequila, snacks, Panda Bears.
Giselle, any questions?
Well, I need to learn how to get in this thing.
Okay.
I'm also an EDM host, actually. That's my alter ego.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
So then let's do another interview.
More new music for you.
Here's my final look. I want to know what you think. Let's talk it out in the comments below. Don't move. I'm going to come and join you. Can we get some pizza in here after? Okay, cool. Bye! I'm Giselle Ugarte. Switches.
Oh gosh, that really hurt.
What's up? This is Alaric Ong, and today I'm here with Giselle Ugarte, and she's a marketing director, motivational speaker, and performance coach. She has worked alongside the most kick-ass team of all time every single day at Media Breach, and she has also spoken live on stage with thought leaders like Brendon Burchard and Vaynerchuk. Welcome to the show, Giselle.
Hey, you. Appreciate you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Let's start. Let's talk about your entrepreneurship journey, what got you to be where you are today, and then we'll just go on from there.
Oh my goodness. Where to even begin? My career accidentally started on this little platform called YouTube. And that was before YouTube was a verb. That was before everyone and their mom had a blog. That was before the word influencer was taken seriously as a job title. We're still trying to take it seriously even today. But what had happened was I grew up in the Midwest in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US. And I moved out to LA. I wanted to make a career in Hollywood. I wanted to be in entertainment news. And I went to USC for college, a top journalism school there. And as it turns out, no one wanted to hire me because in the world of Hollywood and entertainment, it's all about who you know. It's getting into that audition room, standing out. And I didn't know anyone. I was not connected in any way whatsoever. And so I was given the advice by someone that I should learn how to do everything in and around my craft. And so I bought a camera. I learned, wanted to learn how to write. So I started a blog. I wanted to learn how to edit. And so I think I downloaded iMovie, and then I taught myself how to use Final Cut. But then all of a sudden, here's this platform called YouTube. I really didn't think anyone was going to see my videos. I just wanted to use it for practice to get more comfortable in front of the camera because I sucked in front of the camera at that point in time. And what I ended up finding were these 16, 17-year-old kids who were extraordinarily average, but yet had millions and millions and millions of subscribers, and no one was talking about it. Now we talk about YouTubers as mainstream celebrities, but back then, no one was talking about it. We didn't have TikTok. The only social media we had, I think Instagram was just starting, but the celebrity did not exist. I don't even think Facebook business pages existed at that point in time. There was Twitter. There weren't these tools. And so here are these kids on YouTube with millions of subscribers no one was talking about it. And so remember, my goal was not to be a YouTuber. My goal was that I wanted to be on TV, because back then TV was the big thing. And so I studied this phenomenon like crazy. And that's what I used to pitch myself and differentiate myself whenever I would walk into audition rooms. And then also, as I began to upload more videos and more blogs, I would have people who started to look at like, oh, what is this girl doing? I would share it on Twitter. And I began to create relationships in LA and online with publicists and agents and managers. And so when I would find out that they were working with brands or celebrities, I would suggest like, well, what about YouTube? Are you on YouTube yet? And in some cases they were, in some cases they had no idea what that was. And so I allowed for myself, and I would keep myself at the top of their list and at the top of mind with suggestions. I would make it as easy as possible for them to say, why wouldn't we want to work with her? Why wouldn't we want to get tips from her? And so in some cases, it was working entirely behind the scenes. In some cases, I was a ghost writer and a ghost producer for big vloggers. And then in some cases, it was brands taking a chance on me, who I didn't have as many subscribers as some of these teenagers, but I knew how to produce, I knew how to write, I knew how to speak. And so where a vlogger who they randomly chose to work with millions of subscribers might take 8 hours to shoot a 4-minute video because they're so used to being in their rooms hitting the record button a million times, I could do it in one take, 2, 3 max, and I could help give them ideas. And slowly but surely that long story short, or long story longer, because I've been rambling for a bit, that's what catapulted my television career. So I did work in network television for a while in Los Angeles. I had some nationally syndicated shows. And then from there, I transitioned into radio, in digital radio, but also traditional morning radio as we know it now. I received the opportunity to co-headline a morning show in Minneapolis. So I moved back to my hometown, something I never thought I would do. I thought for sure I'd go to New York, but for a female to get a co-headline on a morning show, that's pretty much unheard of, especially with no radio background. So I jumped at that, did that for 2 years. And then in the background was always doing different things. My first speaking opportunity was to share the stage with some guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. I knew who he was, but I don't think I understood how much he would rock my world in terms of motivation and inspiration. And then I moved to the agency side of things and became the marketing director for MediaBridge. They specialize in traditional advertising, but then now everything is moving into digital. And for me, I've always just known the organic strategy of social media. That's why I've been able to do so well on TikTok with, over 100,000 followers in the matter of months, and even Clubhouse, where now we're 10,000 followers in the matter of weeks. And it is because people want community. People have been craving human connection long before social distancing was the way of our world. They want to feel like they're a part of something. They want to feel like they're building something with you. And it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 followers or 1 million followers, creating that community, it is an art, it is a skill, but it's also, my CEO says the number one marketing strategy is to care. And that's really the heart of everything we do.
So how do you feel like when your first time being on radio? Were you nervous, or how do you feel like?
I was so nervous, 1,000%. But there was also something really beautiful there, where for the first time in my career, I didn't have to be on camera. I didn't have to be hair and makeup ready. And that was something that I really got stuck in, especially living in Los Angeles, where it's all about how you look and how much you weigh and what your hair looks like. And it's more than that now. And I see the industry changing. And that's also part of why I went into marketing, is because I wanted to change the face of that, but that's another story. But with radio, it was this beautiful thing that happened, because all of a sudden there's this feeling of anonymity, where I kind of felt like, because people couldn't see my face, that perhaps I could be more open about who I was, and I could have some more practice telling stories. And that's also what happened when I moved into radio. Is previously I was always telling the stories of other people. It was, whether it was celebrity news or putting news packages together. And now all of a sudden, I was, weirdly enough, the star of the show. And so I had to start talking about what was going on in my life. And what I actually found is that people were more connected to, I mentioned this word earlier, extraordinarily average things. My breakups, my fall on my face moments, the relatable everyday morning routine that we have. And so that definitely helped to uncover even more so that community aspect of what happens when you're sharing the space with these humans. And it also helped me to find my voice where previously I thought I had it. And then all of a sudden there it was. And I see something really similar happening with TikTok right now, where even though there's video incorporated with TikTok, I make the joke that I get more notifications of my real life friends and ex-boyfriends and people that I've worked with joining Clubhouse than I know on TikTok. I've made dozens of friends and hundreds of clients from TikTok, but I could still count on one hand how many of my real friends are active on the platform and creating content. And so with that, for people joining TikTok, it's kind of this feeling of anonymity. It's like you're moving to a new city. It's like you're going to a new school. You could start fresh if you want to. You can be more creative than you're used to. You can dance if you want to, or don't, and that's fine too. And so where previously we're thinking that we have to conform ourselves into this irrational idea of perfection on so many different platforms, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn, TikTok is giving us permission to show up how I tell all of my clients to show up every single day on every single platform. And that is exactly where you are right now.
So, okay, let's talk about like what kind of opportunities have opened up for you because of the publicity that you've received.
Oh man, the biggest thing is the relationships. The biggest thing is the relationships. I like to say that if you are not taking your relationships online, offline, then you are seriously missing out. If the people on your feed are not inspiring you to be, do better, and connect in real life, then that is a missed opportunity right there. And when this whole concept of sharing your life on the internet to strangers, it's a little strange. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird. A lot of people don't understand it. And using this space for work and connection, it's not a place that oftentimes people in our immediate circle can understand. And so for the longest time, and I just shared this on my LinkedIn today, I don't have a lot of regrets in my life because I truly do believe that we all ended up where we are for a reason. But if I really had to dig deep, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't create community from the start. I looked at everyone as my competition, whether it was people in my real life or people on my feed. I was in a constant state of comparison and going down this rabbit hole of feeling like I was less than or like I would never be good enough. When in actuality, what I should have been doing and what has changed the game for me is instead realizing that these are the people who are the best collaboration. They are the best partners. They are the best support system. And so now I have this whole network of friends who I know will be lifelong friends who understand what I'm going through in a way that nobody else does unless they are on the creator side, and we can help each other. And it's not about competition. One of my best friends who I've made from TikTok, it's Jara.Bean, Jara Foster Fell. And rather than me thinking, oh my gosh, this girl is the biggest competition ever, I said, hey, do you want to take a look inside of my course? Do you want to take a look inside of my membership? Do you want to take a look at my emails? I let her look at whatever she wants. And we talk to each other. Hey, what are you pricing yourself at right now? And we have become better because we're talking to each other. We can vent our frustrations in a way that no other people understand. And so if you're looking at your feed and you're thinking, I'll never be that, or someone else is already doing that, or, oh my God, I hate her because she's so much, further than I will ever be. Back up, have a seat. That person on your feed could be your best business partner, could be your best friend. And I'll even add to that, proximity is power. It's not always about the biggest creators or the most famous celebrities. Usually it's the ones who they're exactly on your level. And together you can create more leverage and see the world in a different place and be the next generation of whoever it is that you're looking up to.
Got it. And so do you feel that TikTok is effective in terms of like the audience on TikTok? Is it like a younger audience? And like, is it effective for, let's say, a coach, or for, let's say, in your, like a marketing agency? Is it an effective way to get clients, not just followers, but clients? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you think that TikTok is just kids and dancing, you have not spent enough time on TikTok. That's what I tell everyone when they're like, but I don't, I don't want to be there for the kids. I don't want to do the dances. Look at my profile. It is not dances. I could count on one hand how many dances I have done. And this is coming from someone who loves to dance, but that's not what I want to use the platform for. I like to say that your platform is your vessel, not your end goal. You're using it to get you somewhere. And so 1,000,000,000%, I mean, if you look at the comments that are on my videos, sure, every now and then you might find a kid or a teenager, but for the most part, and I could show you, I could open up my dashboard. My age demographic is 25 and above. And I made my first sale on TikTok at 1,001 because that's when I was able to go live and start sharing myself to people and having those intimate conversations with people. And then from there, it has grown significantly. Within 90 days, all of a sudden, TikTok became a valuable part of the business model that I wanted to create. And so absolutely, especially for coaches, especially for solopreneurs, especially for forward-facing executives who want to amplify their message and be thought leaders in what they're doing, TikTok 1000%. But with any platform, you can't just go in and assume that you're going to dominate because you think that you are better than or more polished than, or you have a better production team or whatever. Sit back, have a seat, follow 100 people, get to know the style, get to know the people that you want to put yourself out to, get to know how you want to create videos, the feeling that you want to create. And then from there, go establish who your audience is going to be. And then that way you can attract the right people, because to begin with, it's possible that you might attract kids. But if you keep on speaking to your audience the way that you normally would, the people who you want to attract, you'll start to attract those people. You can even hashtag by audience as well. And that's one little technical piece where if your audience is mostly moms, hashtag moms of TikTok. If your hashtag is mostly millennials, hashtag millennials. And then that way the algorithm can start to recommend you to people who are within those demographics. And that's the beauty of TikTok, that you can't get anywhere else, is the organic reach. There are people who are seeing your content who don't follow you, who otherwise never would have been able to find you. But because of that For You feed, they're able to find you and fall in love with you in an accelerated pace that is not even comparable when it comes to Instagram right now.
Got it. So I was reading a bio and you said that about how you had, like, you made it all, you had a lot of multiple streams of income and then you lost it all. Could you take me through that or share that? Yeah, more about that.
Of course. I was working in Los Angeles and I had a network TV job. I had tons of endorsements from different brands that I loved. I think you can still see my face on some vending machines around town to this day. I had a nationally syndicated show. I had a digital radio show. I was on top of the world. But I was on top of the world in terms of perception and career and income. I was not looking forward to getting out of bed every day. I would wake up every day and I would dread going to the studio, and I couldn't figure out why, because this was what I wanted. This was the life that I had dreamed of. This is the picture that I'd painted for myself. I manifested it when I was a teenager. I worked my buns off. I worked weekends and holidays and nights, and I hustled my ass off. And yet I would wake up every day going, I don't want to do this. But if I don't want to do this, then what? Because this is all I've ever known. You know, what am I supposed to do? This is what I wanted to do. Like, do I want to go back to school? Do I want to launch a business? But what would I do? I had no idea. And I used the analogy of when we used to drive to work, most of us are working from home now. There are sometimes those days when you get to work and you park and you're like, how did I get here? Like, the whole morning is a blur. You don't even know if you ran red lights. Like, you just got there and you're like, how did I even get here? And that's how I was feeling every day. Like, how did I get here? Why did I even want to be here in the first place? And so I began to plot out my plan to leave. And I started to think of it from a business standpoint of like, okay, this is how much money I have right now coming in every month. This is how much money I have in savings. All right, let's think about this. Let's say let's 6 months. I set a deadline for myself. And if you're in a position right now where you're like, yeah, Giselle, I have that feeling right now, set a deadline for yourself of knowing when you're going to leave, when you're going to take off. Here's what ended up happening though. I set a deadline for myself for 6 months. The next day, I get a call from my producer saying that they are actually renovating the whole LA office and they have canceled my segment indefinitely. What? The day after that, I get an email from a friend with a casting call for my job. What? So all of a sudden, here's this other show that I was feeling secure about, and they are replacing me, yet had not let me go. And I call my producer and I'm like, hey, what is going on here? And she's like, I have no idea. And a couple hours later, she calls me. She's getting fired as well. They're completely restaffing everyone. They're going in a different direction. Welcome to Hollywood. There it is. And so without even realizing, I manifested what was happening. And now I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, and I also just bought some really expensive shoes, and it was a whole thing. But that's the beautiful thing, is when you are stuck, when you have hit rock bottom, when you have nothing to lose, you can do anything you want. And it was for sure a good window of my life where I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But at the same time, I was moving. I was trying different things. I started to look at business schools. I started to explore different business opportunities. I started to explore different cities because previously I'd never seen a life outside of Hollywood. I started to have deeper conversations with friends and relationships that I had completely put on the back burner because I put my career ahead of everything else. I went home to see my family and got to see the birth of my nephew. And all of a sudden my perspective completely changed. And thank God for that. And so that's the fire that was lit, where all of a sudden, yes, I had some money in savings, but I had to figure out, how am I going to keep this going? How am I going to sustain? And my road has been not at all a straight line. It has been a bunch of ups and downs and twists and turns. But now, here in the year that is 2021 and the year that is 2020, I look at my life and how everything shifted to this virtual space. And never have I felt more uniquely qualified to take on a landscape of something. You put the YouTube together, you bring in TV and chat rooms and audio, and you bring in production, all those hours that I spent learning how to do it all myself, all that time that I spent learning how to do live and pre-recorded and being able to tell other people's stories, but also tell my own, and practice doing interviews. And now I don't know when live events are coming back, but it has made me feel so empowered to be able to help other professionals to establish their online identity, create meaningful communities, even if it means, or perhaps especially if it means, starting from zero and starting from nothing, because I've done it. And I would never recommend a strategy or a platform that I have not used or grown myself, and for other brands, people, and businesses.
Got it. So tell me more about your business. What do you do, and how can people follow you? Yeah.
Yes. So at this point in my life, I am focusing entirely on coaching and speaking and online education. I made it a point that I really wanted to work in marketing and increase visibility for so many different types of people, colors, race, religion, sexual orientation, ability. And I still want to do that. But I'm especially feeling called right now to be hands-on with what that looks like, rather than just providing strategy for a brand or a business or talking about it. I really want to get hands-on with all my clients. And TikTok opened my eyes to that. Clubhouse opened my eyes to that, of what the demand is and what the need is. You have a lot of people who have newly found influence, who have no idea how to monetize or what to do. And then you have all of these people who have a lot of money and they've established an incredible career, but they have no idea what to do in this online landscape. And so I'm merging those two groups together and creating a curriculum, as well as simply getting on as many stages as I can, whether it's real life or virtual, to be able to share my story and share real life, practical, tactical, action forward tips. And the key word there in my coaching is action forward. That's the name of my company, is Action Forward, because it's possible that you listen to all of these high performing coaches about all of the things that you can do. But so often we think we're being productive because we're listening to the podcast, or we're going to the conference, or we're getting in the ice bath, or we're getting on the treadmill. But then we look down and we realize we have not moved. We have been on a hamster wheel. It's not actually pushing us forward in the way that we had hoped, either because what we're posting is not demonstrating our intention, or because we're not clear in what those goals are. So I want to help people find that clarity, reach their goals. For me, it is marketing meets mindset with a hell of a lot of motivation. And so with all of the new platforms popping up, I'm so grateful for the ability to reach out to so many different people where, yes, I have my high ticket clients who are at the executive CEO level who are able to afford my one-on-one services, but I want to make sure that I'm accessible. I want to provide resources that are affordable so that I'm able to reach people all over the world, because I know what it's like to be in that space where you're like, I can't afford anything. What can I do? And so whether it's creating more free groups like that or free resources or affordable digital products, I want to make sure that we can get that message out so that people can feel empowered going into 2021 and beyond.
Great, sounds good. So how can people follow you, and do you have any bonus that you want to give them?
That what?
Do you have any bonus or free gifts that you want to give them? And how
Oh
can
my
they follow
God,
you?
I totally should have thought about that. So I know. Okay. So right now, if you text TikTok tips, all one word, to 612-324-1224. It's a US number, but if you text TikTok tips, TikTok-TIPS, you can get a link to my brand new TikTok mini course, and it's only $27, which is hundreds of dollars less than my previous master course. And you can get my top 10 TikTok tips plus my 5 favorite content recipes for $27. And that is it. So TikTok tips to 612-324-1224. But then if you want to do coaching, if you want to get into my monthly membership, find me on Instagram or find me on Clubhouse. Giselle Ugarte is me. Find me on LinkedIn. I would love, love, love to connect with you and set you up with the program that makes the most sense for you and your budget right now.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you for being on the show. And for those of you who are watching and you like it, make sure you like the show. Make sure you like this video, and you follow her on Instagram, follow her on Clubhouse, and get connected with her. All right. Take care.
Appreciate you
I'll
so
see you.
much.